Have you ever visited 3 countries in the same day, without a passport, without a visa, and with a backpack full of trinkets? Yeah, I have, and I'm going to show you how it was. In the heart of South America, there is a place where chaos, commerce, and culture embrace in a perfect triangle: Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina. Today, I'm going to take you to Ciudad del Este, the craziest place in Paraguay, and cross with you to Brazil and Argentina, all in one video. Absurdly low prices, good music, sales scams, casino, and an adventure that looks like a scene from a movie, but I can assure you that it's 100% real. 1. Ciudad del Este. Have you ever heard of Ciudad del Este? If the answer is no, don't feel guilty. Many people in Latin America barely know that this city exists. But it's there, right in the heart of South America. On the edge of Brazil, right behind Argentina, and in the midst of such intense chaos, it's actually beautiful to see. Ciudad del Este is the second largest city in Paraguay, with over 325,000 inhabitants. But don't be fooled by the number. What's impressive here isn't the population, it's the movement. Every day, thousands of Brazilians and Argentines cross the famous Friendship Bridge to do just one thing: shop! Here, commerce is king. It's like Sao Paulo's 25 de Março mixed with Dubai, and in the middle of a whirlwind of voices mixing Portuguese and Spanish. You walk 5 meters, and out of nowhere, a man offers you blue pills to lift your little friend up from below, if you know what I mean. Soon after, someone appears selling a counterfeit cell phone, a perfume, a pair of fake sneakers. Oops, I mean original. And if that weren't enough, there's also a bottle of whiskey available and, for the more daring, even an electric prod. Yes, that's right, known as a taser. There's so much stuff that the city looks like an open-air market with accents from every corner of Latin America. People selling, people buying, people shouting, people scamming, and people being scammed all at the same time. And do you know what's most curious? In the midst of all this organized chaos, there's something that no one tells you. This city moves Paraguay. Literally! More than 30% of the country's economy revolves around what happens here, based on informality, haggling, and the border. Ciudad del Este does not have that classic beauty of tourist postcards. No perfect landscapes or tidy settings. Here, the charm is different. It is a pulsating chaos, with traffic that seems to have come straight out of India, where the lack of traffic lights means that everything depends on a lone guard trying to bring order to the frenetic traffic. 2. Absurd prices. Myth or truth? Okay, let's talk about the part that really makes your eyes shine and your wallet tremble. The prices. Have you ever heard someone say that everything in Paraguay is cheap, right? Oh, go ahead, perfume is $10, iPhones are half the price, Nike sneakers are cheaper than a pastel at the fair. But is that really true? Or is the legend of Paraguay just a legend? Spoiler, it's not. Right away, we enter a store that sells imported perfumes. Carolina Herrera, Paco Rabanne, Invictus, all there, shining on the shelves as if it were a designer fashion show. And the prices? Hold on. Good Girl for $55, 1,200,000 milliliters for $80, Invictus for $45. In Brazil, which is right next door, these same perfumes easily cost more than our $600 to our $800. In other words, here you leave smelling nice and still have money left over to buy the blue pills that the guy on the corner always offers me. Now, electronics? Cell phones with prices well below what you can find in Brazilian stores. But then comes the question, original or replica? Here, you can't hesitate. Scams are everywhere. A friend of mine decided to play smart. He said he wouldn't fall for the buy from a well-known store line that went straight to the so-called source. I think what he didn't know is that this source was, in fact, the source of the scam. He went there all confident, thinking he was getting the best deal of the trip. He bought an iPhone that looked brand new, but he had seen more hands than a girl at a funk dance. When he realized his mistake and tried to go back to the store to complain, came across a detail. The owner was not alone. There were 3 or 4 colleagues around, all with that "just sort it out and go away" look on their faces. And then comes the culture shock. In Paraguay, there is no such thing as carrying a gun with such high requirements as in Brazil. A security guard who barely has enough money to dress well, with crooked teeth, flip-flops on his feet, and a gun on his belt? He does. A lot. In other words, my friend quickly understood that it was better to keep quiet, accept the loss, and leave quietly. As for me, I went straight to Cell Shop. A nice store, original product, air conditioning, and receipt, of course. And I was even served by a beautiful Paraguayan woman, the kind who makes you think, man, if the service is as good as her smile, it was worth the trip. Want to shop without any headaches? Only go to big stores and certified stores. Cell Shop, Nice, Shopping China. It's better to pay a little more than to go home with a fake iPhone or perfume, as well as a sad story to tell. There you can see shelves with well-known brands and brand-new models, but there are also those suspicious promotions like buy an iPhone and get a little blue pill. Just kidding, but that's almost it. And the sneakers? Versace with SH for $19, Nike for $30, Lacoste for $22. And here comes an unofficial rule of Ciudad del Este. Always be suspicious, but buy anyway. Because there are stores that do sell original products with receipts, all nice and pretty. But there are others that, let's say, sell creative inspirations. In the end, you find yourself thinking, is it original? And the answer is, it depends on how much you want to believe. But the prices are attractive. Oh, they are. And that explains why there are Argentines, Brazilians, Bolivians, Chileans, Colombians. Everyone squeezing in here to buy a pair of headphones, a perfume, and an iPhone. We've barely started. And already we feel like leaving with a bag in each hand. But don't worry, there's still a lot more. 3. The Friendship Bridge. Now it's time to cross. Literally, the famous International Friendship Bridge is the link that connects Ciudad del Este in Paraguay to Foz do Iguaçu in Brazil. And the crossing? Well, it looks more like a secret passage than an official border. No passport control, no police, no stamps. You come and go as if you were going to the bakery on the corner. In fact, every day, more than 20,000 people make this journey. And 93% of them don't even sleep in Paraguay. They just go to buy something and come back. We arrive at the roundabout that leads to the bridge and see the sign. Welcome to the Republic of Paraguay. But soon after, we are already on our way back. It's bizarre. In 3 minutes, you leave one country and enter another. And the craziest thing, no one asks you anything. Want a tip? Pretend everything is fine. Make that "I have nothing to hide" face and go. The crossing is slow, there are lines, but it's free. You leave the Paraguayan chaos and start to feel the calmer vibe of Brazil. The language changes, the notices change, even the energy changes. That's when you get that feeling. Man, I just crossed a border. No passport, no stamp. Just looking like a tourist and a backpack full of perfume and an iPhone. And that's just the beginning, because now we're entering Foz do Iguaçu. And the contrast? It's immediate, but be careful. There, at the border, there are people ready to scam tourists who look nice. Right there near the bridge, on the Brazilian side. 2 friends of mine fell into that famous game of cups and balls. Out of nowhere, a guy appeared near them, and another guy started playing. From experience, I already knew that the player was an accomplice of the owner of the game. Anyway, he started winning, encouraged the girls to play too, and in the end, They were crying. They started betting 100 reais and lost another 1,500 each, the money they were going to use to buy perfume in Paraguay. I remembered that episode of Everybody Hates Chris, where his mother recovers the money that Chris lost in that same type of game, and it was exactly like what happened there. They have their henchmen, they make it seem like it's easy to win, and when someone loses a lot, they disappear. The gambler disappeared in the blink of an eye. I looked to the side and saw the owner of the game jumping on the motorcycle of a motorcycle taxi, which sped off as if it were fleeing from the police. Here, you can never be too careful. If the offer seems too easy, be suspicious. 4. Welcome to Brazil. We cross the bridge, and suddenly everything changes. We leave the madness of Ciudad del Este and enter the peace and quiet of Foz do Iguaçu. It's as if someone had turned down the volume of the world. On the other side of the bridge, there were horns, shouts, portinhol, cell phones, perfume, and shouting. Here, silence, literally. The streets are cleaner, the traffic flows slowly. No one approaches you with a bye, bye, bye. It's such a stark contrast that it almost feels strange. Hey, where's the chaos? Where's the screaming? Where are the people selling blue pills to make my friend hard? The entrance to Foz do Iguaçu is so peaceful that it feels like a small town. You start to see signs in Portuguese, organized little shops, discreet bars, and an atmosphere of peace. But it's a good kind of peace, the peace of a city that knows how to welcome people. By the way, Foz do Iguaçu has about 260,000 inhabitants and is the 7th largest city in Paraná. But what sustains everything here is tourism, mainly because of the Iguaçu Falls, which are just a few kilometers away. And I visited. It's so beautiful. The Iguaçu Falls are a spectacle of nature, a group of 275 waterfalls that stretch for 2.7 kilometers on the border between Brazil and Argentina. Some falls reach 82 meters in height, the most famous of which is the Devil's Throat, an impressive abyss that makes anyone feel small in the face of the force of the water. The park that houses the falls is a true natural sanctuary with 250,000 hectares of subtropical forest, home to incredible biodiversity. Since 1986, the Iguaçu Falls have been recognized as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, and in 2012, they were included in the list of the 7 Wonders of Nature. But unlike the Paraguayan side, here the focus is not on cheap shopping, it's on the experience. You feel like you've entered a city designed for tourists. Everything is more organized, clean, controlled, and more expensive. And look, after the heat and chaos of Ciudad del Este, this calm is actually a relief. But don't worry, the trip isn't over yet. There's also Argentina right next door. 5. The crossing to Argentina. After exploring Ciudad del Este and stopping by Foz, that classic question came to mind: what if we went to Argentina? But the crossing is not as free as the one to Paraguay. To cross to Puerto Iguaçu, you have to do it right. Thank goodness we had a local guide, a taxi driver who knew everyone and everything, including the border guards. The guy was practically a diplomat. He just asked us to fill out a super quick document, which took about 2 minutes, and that was it. We went through immigration like we were walking into a friend's house. As soon as we entered Puerto Iguaçu, we could already feel the different atmosphere, a more charming, more cultural vibe, and with a touch of class. Our first stop, a restaurant with live music. The band was amazing, and suddenly, in the middle of the performance, the musicians played La Barça by Luis Miguel. Brother, I love that song. It was like they had read my soul. Right after, a tango dance started. A couple of those professionals who spin, slide, strike dramatic poses, everything as is required by the Argentine style. And as if the night wasn't already cinematic enough, we ended up in a casino. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a real casino, with chips, lights, machines, roulette, and everything. Spoiler? I lost everything. I don't even know what I bet. I just know that the money blew away. Oh, and one detail. You can't film inside. Absolutely not. I had my cell phone in my hand, just adjusting the camera. And the security guards looked at me as if I were the villain in a crime movie. Sir, you can't film. And that look that said, one more step, and you're gone. But in the end, it was worth every second. Puerto Iguazu has charm, soul, and music. And despite the loss at the casino, I left there with a light heart and a full memory. 6. The Three Borders Landmark. After crossing 3 countries, the cherry on the cake was visiting a place that summed up the entire trip in one place. The Three Borders Landmark on the Brazilian side. And look, what a magical place. It's right there, right on the tip of Foz do Iguaçu, where Brazil, Paraguay, and Argentina meet, united by 2 immense and symbolic rivers, the Iguaçu and the Paraná. But what makes this place so special is not just the incredible view. It is the unique cultural atmosphere that it carries. Right away, you come across a beautiful, clean, tree-lined space with great facilities. It has a well-lit square, snack bars, souvenir shops, and an open-air stage in the center of it all. And then comes the best part, the cultural performances. Yes, right there, under the stars, and with the sunset in the background, you will witness a true spectacle. Paraguayan dance with full skirts and lively rhythms, Argentine tango with couples in love performing meticulous steps, and Brazilian music and dance with indigenous, African, and European influences mixed in an exciting show. All this to the sound of traditional music from the 3 countries and with the flags fluttering in the wind. And the best part, you can watch all of this with a cold beer in your hand, or while eating popcorn, a sandwich, or a typical sweet. There are even little shops with souvenirs, crafts, and regional products. You sit down, relax, and just enjoy. Your heart beats fast and your head thinks, man, this is worth every penny. And it really is, because in addition to the show, the place is perfect for taking photos. Every corner seems designed to become a postcard. There are lookouts with panoramic views, giant flags of the 3 countries, well-kept gardens, and the green and yellow obelisk that represents Brazil at this magical point on the border. At night, the lighting makes everything even more beautiful, with stage lights that highlight the structures and create a cozy and charming atmosphere. You know those places that you don't want to leave? This is it! The Three Borders Landmark is not just a tourist attraction. It is a summary of South America in the form of an experience. You feel proud, you feel history, you feel belonging, and you leave there with one certainty. Borders exist, but culture is what unites us. 3 countries! Without a passport, without a plan, and with a backpack full of trinkets from Paraguay. That's right, my friend, I went. And I came back with a story. I came back with a half-price Apple Watch, a brand new laptop, and so much cheap perfume that I had to buy a suitcase just to carry it all. Oh, and there was still room for a fancy wine that I bought in Argentina and took as a gift to my cardiologist. Now, the only thing I didn't bring was the little blue pills that I was offered so often. I gave them up. I know there are people who can't live without them. But in my case, I'm still climbing without help, you know. Ha ha! What about you? Which of these borders would you cross first? Comment below, subscribe to the channel, and watch the video that's showing on the screen. Thanks, and until the next adventure.